Hello. Hello, Abby. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm excellent. Very good today. So thanks for tuning in today. So for those of you who are watching this recording online, this is a series of interviews that we're doing today for the United Conservative Party. Since there's going to be an election for the board of directors at the provincial level and at the regional level, this series of interviews will help the members to have uh, better information as to what to vote and for who to vote in this upcoming election in the AGM. Basically, what happens is that there are nominations for the candidacy for the regional directors, which is Edmonton, Calgary, Central Alberta, South and Northern Alberta. So this is for the Edmonton area. I'm interviewing Abigail Johnson, who is running for the Edmonton area as well too. And there are other positions such as the president for the UCP, Rob Smith, Derek Cormick, VP of Communications, VP of Fundraising, Secretary as well. So this is a series of interviews that we'll be using today, that we'll be doing for today, and going to see that on Freedom Canada's social media accounts as well. So first and foremost, thanks for your time, Avi, for your time that you're dedicating to this interview. So let's talk about you for a second. Who is Abigail Johnson? Just give me a good.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, my name is Abigail Johnson, and I grew up in central Alberta on a farm there with our family and really learned the value of hard work living on the farm. And so all the time we were out there helping weed the garden, and we had a fruit orchard, so helping in that. And so definitely learned the value of hard work and took that to my studies as well. And so I was able to graduate high school at 16 and then
Mm-hmm.
went to Red Deer Polytechnic, where I then got a business diploma at
Mm-hmm.
18. And then this past year, I was studying in England, and got a
Mm-hmm.
certificate in Foundations in Christian Life and Service. I've
Mm-hmm.
always been very politically aware, so we've been very supportive of the conservative movement all my life, and recently got more active and involved in it. And I love it so much, and it really excites me. So
Oh,
yeah, that's a little bit about me.
that's awesome. And you've been here. I think we're starting before the interview. I think you've been at the from the very beginning of the UCP. Is it right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was younger, but I was there to see the whole party unite. And we when Jason Kenney was doing his leadership nomination, had him in our house. And then a few years later, when Premier Smith, when she was doing her leadership nomination, we've had her in our house. And so definitely very active in the United Conservative Party and their creation and beyond. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So now to the questions. As a candidate, do you have like a website, social media platforms, contact information that voters can look into that if you have that information?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the best place to go is my website, which
Which
is
is
abbyjohnson.ca, and that's spelled ABIJOHNSON.ca. So on there, you can find all about me, ways to support me, what my values are. So all of that's on there. I do also have social media. So on Facebook, my account is just Abby Johnson. There we go. That's my website.
mm-hmm.
And I also have Instagram, and that is Abby Johnson UCP. Is
Okay. So you've
mhm.
done the diligence to create a dedicated UCP handle just to the SCP related stuff. That's smart. Uh,
Yeah.
not a lot of people do that. Okay, so that's fantastic.
Mhm.
So another question that I have here as well too. As a candidate, you have the social media platforms. That's fantastic. Um, another question is: are you currently working for the government or working as a sitting MP?
So I am currently working for the government. I work in an administrative role in the Ministry of Primary and Preventative Health Services for the province. So that's not in charge of creating any policy or anything, but more just an administrative assistant role in there. And so I've been there since May, and it's been wonderful to get to serve in that way.
And you mentioned also before the interview started that you were obviously living in central Alberta, but you moved here to Edmonton about in May this year. Is that right?
Yeah, so I moved here full time in May, and so I've been living here since then, and I've loved it. I've loved getting to know the city and get involved in events and find a community. And so I love that I get to call Edmonton home now.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic. Okay, so explain why you're running as a regional director for the Edmonton area.
Yeah, well, I think we really need to get youth involved in the party. I think youth are the key to Alberta's future. And so we really need to get the youth involved and engaged and active. And it can be very intimidating to step into that place. I know this as a younger person running for this position, and it can feel like you don't have support, or for students who are in universities and they feel like if they speak up, they're going to get worse grades from their professors on that, or they're going to get shunned. And so I really want to be a voice for the youth, and I want to step into this and bring them into our party and say, it's great to have these values and you matter and you're a part of this movement. And so I really want to be a voice for the youth, bring them in and really help bring them to get Edmonton some seats and make it more blue.
So your strategy is trying to focus more on the youth community as well, right? That's your selling point?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
okay,
I think we're seeing more youth move in the direction of conservatism right now, and so I think we really need to build on that and really help bring those youth into our party.
Are you in any chance involved in some sort of young adults group or any youth group at in any conservative movement, either federally, provincially, municipally? What's your take on that?
Yeah, so I am part of a youth group with my church. So that's not quite politically involved, but I am involved with youth in the city in that way. The party has been putting on some more youth events lately. So a couple months back, they had a bowling night in Edmonton. So I went to that. And then also there was the Next Gen Leadership Summit. So for the youth in the party to go to that. So I attended that, which was fantastic. And
I think that was in Red Deer, wasn't it?
It was, yes. So
okay.
it was fantastic.
Awesome.
We had youth from Grand Prairie, Lethbridge, Calgary, Edmonton, Central Alberta. So it was so cool to get to see youth from all over the province there.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, another set of question is, if you're elected, if you're elected, how you like to strengthen the relationship between the local CAs and the provincial board?
Yeah, I think for that, communication is key. And so we really need to have those open lines of communication. And something I'd be willing to commit to as an Edmonton director would be attending those CA meetings. Now, we have 20 CAs in Edmonton, and that may increase if the boundaries get changed. So I can't commit to being at every meeting every month, but for sure showing up when I can to those to increase that, and just making sure that there's lots of emails exchanged, and that I'm always a person that will, if someone has a question, I'll always be there to call. And if I don't know the answer, I will look into it for them and make sure they get that answer.
Understood. That's a good strategy. Yeah, because the CAs, at least for the cities, they need a lot of support as well too. That's definitely good. If elected, please give 3 things that you would like to work from day one.
So from day one, I think, as I've mentioned, I'm really passionate about getting the youth involved. And so currently there's many universities in Edmonton, but only one of them has a conservative club. And so I'd really like to work with that conservative club, but also work on getting more conservative clubs in at other universities. So that's one point I want to do. Another one is we really need to make sure that we aren't starting campaigning 2 months before the election, because that's really not enough time, and we need to get working on that now. So working with the CA saying, hey, even if you don't have a candidate, get out in the doors, get the UCP name out there, and be sending emails to your members so that they know that an election is coming up and we need help with that. And then the third thing is just making sure the UCP has a bigger presence in Edmonton. We see there's lots of festivals and concerts and events happening, and there's a strong NDP presence at those events, but there's not a strong UCP presence. And so I really want to bring that. I'll go to those events. It might be a bit intimidating to go where there's a bunch of NDP who can come at you, but I'll commit to going to those events and really making the UCP presence known.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And also in regards to the event side, I think is sometimes it's just a matter of, it's their board of directors who might want this over this. Sometimes it happens, but that's good. So your strategy is focusing on the youth, improving communications, and helping in starting the campaign ASAP, and working on events where there's a NDP presence. That's my understanding, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Another question. Edmonton is a urban area and has many characteristics, and one of them is multiculturalism, the presence of the immigrant community. You have, let's say, people on the south side who are Indians or members of the Sikh community. You got people from Ethiopia, Somalia, South America, you name it. What you're planning to do to bring those communities towards the conservative movement?
Yeah, those communities are so important, and we really, it'd be fantastic to have them a part of us, and we need them to be part of the UCP movement. And so I plan to engage these communities by really reaching out to them and having conversations with them and meeting them. And I think we do have a lot of the same values. A lot of the communities really have an emphasis on strong families. That's really important to them, and safe communities, and very hard workers. And I think that's represented in their communities, and that's what our party represents as well. So building those bridges and really showing that we do have these connections and that we want to work to serve them as best as we can. So really having those conversations and having those shared values present.
Okay, that's good. So you're trying to grabbing them to the conservative and reaching down to them. Sounds good. Any kind of specifics as to getting to, like you were talking about the events, getting the people in the events area, like type of like bringing them to, let's say, trying to approach, let's say, the people from the I don't know the heritage festival here in Edmonton. That's where a lot of immigrants are there. So you're going to try to also use that strategy as well too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so having a booth at that event, or walking around with a UCP t-shirt with brochures to hand out, just really to have a presence there and get to have conversations with people.
Understood. Yeah, that's fair. Are you, another question I have, are you open to work with other CAs in the Donut area? and also with rural CAs. What I mean, the donut area is the donut around Edmonton, like Nisku, Shower Park, Stony Plain, Spruce Grove, St. Albert, the donut around Edmonton. So and also the rural communities like Lacombe, um, all those communities. Are you planning to work with other CA boards as well if you're working with Edmonton?
Yeah,
Because you
absolutely.
might be. Because you might be too. You might have to.
Yeah, I think it's a great area that we can tap into because unfortunately, not all of the boards in Edmonton are strong because we just don't have that support. But some of the more rural areas and in the donut community, they do have a lot of support and they have big donors. And so they have lots of money. And they're willing to help donate that to an Edmonton CA to get an MLA elected. And so definitely we should be working with them and help get the support that they are able to offer into our CAs because that's going to be huge when it comes to winning the elections.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's understandable. So you're open to the idea. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Another question I have is election readiness because there's going to be a provincial election in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not hide the fact these are the facts. It's going to be a provincial election in 2027. What is your overall strategy to make sure that Edmonton gets more votes in the provincial election?
So, as I mentioned before, we really need to be starting today and getting into that. We can't wait too long in order to start doing things. So, that's going to be super important. And what that really looks like is going to doors, sending out emails. And I think there are a few constituencies that we're so close to winning. There's some that we can
Can
work
you name
really
a
hard
few?
at, but it's not going to be great. But pardon, what was that?
Can you name a few?
Yeah, like so Edmonton McClung is very close. Edmonton, Decore, Castle
Mm-hmm.
Downs, those are a few, and we're really close. And so I think we really, especially, we need to focus on the whole city, but really, especially focus into those constituencies because they are so winnable. And so we can't just be like, oh, well, other places are going to be harder to win, so let's focus on those. We really need to make sure we focus on the ones that are winnable to make sure we get those seats.
Okay, that's a good understanding. That's a good answer. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the last question, and this is a question that was asked by Dennis Modry, and obviously it's going to be about independence or not, depending how you see things. He asked this question, and I'm going to ask this question again because for some members who are also concerned about this, there are also talk about Alberta independence. What is more important to you, Alberta as a party, as a candidate? What is more important to you, the Alberta independence, the party of, or both?
Yeah, so I did mention this at the forum. So if you were there, you'll have heard my answer already. And if
I was
not,
there.
then you can hear this. So it is the referendum is up to Albertans. It's not for the government to decide. And so whether that happens, whether we vote yes or no, that's for Albertans to decide. And so as a UCP board member, that wouldn't be my position to be deciding on whether we should have that happen or not. And really what my role is to win the next election and work with those CAs. And so I'm going to do everything I can to win the next election. And if Albertans decide it goes to a referendum and we have people vote in favor of separatism, I need to make sure that we win the next election because if that happens, we need a UCP government in power and not an NDP government. Because if we have an NDP government deciding what happens to a sovereign Alberta, that's a mess I don't want to see. And so my position really is that's an issue for Albertans to decide. And as a board member, my main priority is to make sure we win that election.
Yeah, that's an answer. That's yeah, absolutely. And I think at this point it's fair to give, even if you say one or two answers, that's completely fine. We just to tell the people what is your take as a candidate on this. Any closing remarks?
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for listening in, and I hope to see you all at the AGM. If you're there, please come and say hi. I'd love to meet you. Yes, the best part about all of this has just been meeting people and getting to have conversations.
Oh
So
yeah, absolutely,
yeah, it's been
absolutely.
great. So yeah, please come and say hi, and thank you for all you're doing for the conservative movement. And remember, at the UCP, remember the name Abby Johnson for Edmonton Director, and I hope to have your support.
Fantastic, and yeah, and I want to remind you guys to come to the AGM. For me, I do come every year. It's in the budget, so every year I go to the AGM because it's such a good networking opportunity. So you're gonna have the chance to meet good people as well. So thanks for your time, Abby, and let's hope for success. And thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been wonderful.